Hey y'all, Kelly K Consulting. I hope you're doing well on this Tuesday. So yesterday I did not do Monday moves, and so we're gonna call today Tuesday tidbits. So what'd you do yesterday, Kelly? Well, yesterday, you know how people always say, I did a thing. Well, my thing was I went and got a colonoscopy. Okay, first things first, I'm not sharing all the details. Can I just leave it there? But I thought I would share with you a little bit about the journey to get this thing done. You see, I was a little delayed in getting this thing done. But I had to think about a few things. One, flat out, fear. Fear. Do you have something you're scared of? And maybe you're thinking, Knowles, I am a survivor of fill in all the blanks. And so you've kind of gotten over this, but I would offer maybe there might be another fear out there. So I had to think about, all right, this is something I know I need to do for my health. How am I gonna make it happen? So I developed a plan, and that's what this video is about. Kel, what was your plan? The first thing I had to do was make the appointment. So I made sure to get a referral that I felt good about, and I made the appointment. And then I got the information. But I took it a step further because if you know me, this is what I do. I knew I couldn't go into this event without preparation. I don't mean that preparation, I mean knowing what they're gonna do. So yes, I am that person that Googled what do they do during a colonoscopy. I Googled what happens. I Googled how long it takes. And I do all of those things because there was going to be a lot out of my control. But I also knew I wanted to have a feeling of understanding what was happening. The other thing that I had to do was get some support. Well, what do you mean by that? I can't do this by myself. I had to have someone drive me and take me home. And so I got support. And I'm very thankful to my husband for being so good to me. He was just fabulous about the whole thing and made sure I was fed and cooked me things that I could eat and so on. I also had to recognize that I still had fear. At one point during the event, I evidently have tiny veins. It's kind of like when the dentist says, Kelly, you have a tiny mouth, and people are like, no, Kelly doesn't have a tiny mouth. I actually evidently physically have a tiny mouth, and now I've learned that I have tiny veins. And so I had to go through some real anxiety while my husband was sitting out in the waiting room, and there are total strangers working to get an IV in. I won't go into the gory details, but I had to do a lot of breathing. I really had to breathe through a process that makes me nervous anyway and was uncomfortable. And thankfully, the nurses were just fabulous and knew they were dealing with, I'll just call myself a pediatric patient. In all of that, there are some lessons for moving into a change or an action that you need to take. You know, I've got to talk about that because the first thing I had to do was get a plan. And I used Google to help be a guide in some ways. I talked to other people who had had the experience. I thought about how I wanted to manage it. I planned ahead for foods and things that I would need a few days before. And so I really stepped out and broke it down into steps so that by the time we got there, I felt more maybe in control of my feelings and my fears because I wanted to fear less. Do you hear me on that? I didn't mean I was fearless going in. I wanted to fear less. You know, that's what the next coaching program is all about. We're going to start on the 3rd Saturday in February. So take a look at your calendar. And that's what we're going to do in the next program. No, we're not going to do colonoscopy plans, but we are going to do look at what is it that you're thinking of next? What is that action step that you know it's time to take? And maybe you're thinking, I have no plan. I don't even know how to get it started. I kind of have an idea, but I have no plan. Well, that's what we'll do. In this series, we take that step-by-step approach to move you into your next. So I'm going to put a link for more information just to get you on the Hey Kelly, send me information list. But I really want you to think about this. colonoscopy aside, this was another step for me in how do I move into those things that I'm scared of, but also I know that I've got to do it. It needs to be done. And that's why I wanted to take a moment and do this Tuesday tidbit video for you. Hopefully you had some thoughts on this. And if you have put off the colonoscopy like I did, hit me up. I'll give you some info without the gory details. I'll see ya.